Okay, so let me kind of show you how to build a worker. So I'm going to call this Builder Josh YT for YouTube.
Okay.
So I'm going to then start a sync skill. So we have Worker, it's done its work, it's tested. Everything we just did is only running on my machine. You can't break Notion. You're not going to break your workspace. All of this is sandboxed and controlled. And now the last step is I'm going to run NTN workers deploy. If I go into any one of the successful syncs, we can begin to see the full logging.
Yeah.
Let's actually see how it looks in Notion. So here they are. I can see the descriptions are being pulled in. I can see how long it is in seconds, the engagement. We load the thumbnail on there.
Awesome.
So this is all your YouTube stats syncing right in. And every time you create a new video, we'll catch and upload that here as well.
네, 안녕하세요 구독자 여러분. 오늘 빌더주시 채널에는 노션에서 프로덕트 리드로 근무하고 계신 에릭 골드먼님을 함께 이렇게 모셨습니다. 오늘 새로운 노션 디벨로퍼 플랫폼을 이렇게 런칭하시게 되셔가지고 저희 채널에서 인터뷰를 하게 되었는데요. 오늘 제가 영어를 쓰게 될 예정입니다. 그래서 다소 좀 어색하더라도 여러분들이 좀 많이 봐주시면 좋을 것 같고요. 이제 에릭 골드먼님을 소개하도록 하겠습니다. Hello, Eric. Yeah, how are you?
Hello.
Yeah.
I'm great. I'm so excited to be here.
Is this the first visiting to Korea?
This is my first time in South Korea and I'm loving it. Amazing country.
Okay, so it's your first official Korea trip since joining Notion.
Yes.
And what's been your first impression of the Korean builder or developer community you've met so far? Have you met any engineers?
I've met our team here, been going through, so we're in a WeWork, and so I've been impressed by how many people in this entire office use Notion. I've stepped into a couple cafes, and I see Notion on computers, on phones. It's just amazing to kind of see how much it's kind of interwoven into the tech scene here in South Korea. I mean, we always see it. It's one of our largest markets, but to see it and kind of feel the enthusiasm has been really cool. And just Korea is such a fun, kind of like forward-feeling environment for technology. So it's really kind of cool to see this all happening.
It's cool. Could you give a quick your self-introduction to our subscribers?
Yeah. So I'm actually fairly new to Notion. I've been at Notion since August when a company that my co-founder and I, Anthony, built was acquired by Notion. And so kind of stepping back, I first got into technology. I studied at the University of Southern California. And at that time, in like 2011, that was right when YouTube was just kind of becoming a thing. You could upload 2-minute video clips to YouTube. That was the maximum. It was brand new. And coming out of university where I studied economics, I just wanted to do and join any company that was working in new media and short form video. So I immediately started joining startups and worked at a company that became called Zephyr. And so we did a bunch of work in YouTube, those skippable ad formats we worked a lot on. And I found myself in product. And actually at Zephyr is when I first started hearing about Notion. I first started using it for personal notes. They didn't have databases at the time. But it was a product that I really enjoyed using, although it was very early back then. But at Zephyr, we built these big systems to sync YouTube and Facebook and Snapchat into our advertising system. So we started building, it was my first exposure to the hard problems of building developer tools to sync and connect to data sources. And from that experience is when Anthony and I, my co-founder, we started a company called Sequin to build developer tools that made that process of syncing data, interacting with third-party APIs, making that much easier. And that continued to grow. And we eventually started seeing that Notion was actually beginning to look and use our products. And one day we chatted with Ivan and Max, and they have such a clear overlap. I don't think I fully appreciated at the time how much Notion is in this really unique position to sync data, because it doesn't just sync the data into some random database or data warehouse that nobody has access to. It syncs it to a place that an entire team can actually use it. And so for the past 6 months or so, we've been working on bringing that technology into Notion. And we just released it as a part of the developer platform here a couple
Yeah.
of days ago, really.
Yes, yeah, but actually I recognize the Notion Workers from in the setting tab. Maybe it's kind of an early access program. So at the
Yes.
time I didn't know what is it here. But from maybe almost 2 weeks ago, I realized that Notion Workers is kind of innovative program for developer or every workers, especially my audience in my channel are so very passionate about making some every single tool software using Vibe coding. But even though they are not really developers, but I'm excited to show this program with Eric. So, but I'm wondering that Sequin was infrastructure for streaming database changes into other system. How does that experience especially and show up in how you're designing Notion developer platform today?
Yes. So I think our experience streaming billions and billions of rows through Sequin showed us the millions of ways that syncs can fail. And it also taught us how important it is that we build a set of developer tools, or in the way that we think about it at Notion, these blocks that are very powerful but simple and extensible. And so to give you some examples there, I think Notion is the hub of a lot of people's personal lives. It's a beautiful place to organize and structure all sorts of information.
Yeah, I
but
agree.
It's not a place where, all your information is going to originate. You might track your health on an Apple Watch or some sort of health device. You might track movies you love in another platform. But if you can get it all into one place, it's really helpful for you to kind of organize and really kind of have a second brain or like a really complete set. I think what's really unique about Notion is it can be a place where for you, everything about you can be captured. And that can give you like a lot of confidence and tools to express yourself and look at how you're growing and changing and set goals and all of those things. And so with the developer platform, we wanted to create a set of tools that are developer enterprise grade. They can connect to very, very powerful, complex systems, but would be easy enough to use for all of our Notion users that have never touched a developer tool in their life, have never tried a coding agent. And so from Sequin, we knew how to begin to harness that power and all of the thousands of ways we should make it really easy to use. And then we were able to bring all of that understanding into Notion, which is not just for developers, it's for builders. And really expose us as just a set of building blocks. So that's really what we learned from Sequin, and I think why the fit with Notion has been so good.
Yeah, this is really a great point to merging Sequin experience to the Notion. So Notion has long been known as a collaboration workspace, right? But the team has started using phrase agent OS.
Yes.
But what does that positioning shift actually mean?
So for the longest time, we talked about it as Notion 2.0 before we did our Make with Notion event last year, which is Notion is a place for teams of people to work together, to share docs. Multiplayer is built in right from the beginning. You can mention people with their real name and they get notified. But as we've evolved to really bring agents into that experience, and not just, like your personal agent in the corner, it's these custom agents, we have a fundamental belief at Notion that these agents aren't going to replace the work. They're going to be an extension of your team, and they should be given the benefits of that. And so when we start to talk about it as an agent OS, I think it's really fun to think about this through the lens of if you just added another team member to your workspace and you expected them to start helping you do your work, to solve problems or to take care of little chores, but you didn't give them access to any of the other tools you use, or you didn't give them permissions to access the right, pages and databases in Notion, or you didn't log those behaviors, you would really never expect that teammate to be successful. And we've been working really hard with the developer platform and custom agents to make them really full, capable teammates in Notion that you can collaborate with. And so when we talk about the agent OS, it really is about how you and a team of agents can really work together to do really meaningful work. And the last part of that is really if the agent can do the work, if it can read the file or it can find the contact or it can update the page, then we think it's really, really important that all the human team members in your workspace can do it too. So that is what creates a shared context so you can really work together. The inverse, where, for example, a custom agent could edit a page, but you can never see the edits it made or never see the page, or it could access a system, but you can never see what data it retrieved.
Yeah, that's right.
That'd be really unnerving. It makes it really hard to collaborate and build trust. And so we've really been thinking about what the features are that make that possible for the agents and in the platform.
Actually, I watched your GTM demo maybe 2 months ago. And in that video, you mentioned that most of Fortune 500 customers use of the 80s tools outside the Notion. So building integration for all of them is essentially maybe I think impossible. But so that's why maybe Notion, not just the pivoting, just add the feature for the workers. Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'd love to hear how that decision was made internally. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been talking to our customers. We talk to our customers all the time. We have a big ethos inside Notion that there's a customer in every room. And when we were chatting with a lot of customers, there was 2 big problems that Notion was facing. One, it didn't connect to most tools, right? So as you just mentioned, most companies, most people have many systems they work with. And to cover every single system in every single industry that Notion is used in, from construction to students to law offices, it's thousands and thousands of integrations.
Yeah.
And to build every single one of those would almost be impossible. But I think the second part of it is Notion sets a very high quality bar for how we want those integrations to work. They need to be very seamless. They need to connect to all the data you want. And most importantly is they need to work the way you want that data to land in Notion. And I think that's the second biggest thing we heard, which is every customer wanted data differently. So an example of that is we've always had a GitHub integration. We've had that for a very long time. But if you were to talk to 5 customers about how they wanted that data structured in their Notion workspace, you would get 5 different answers. They all wanted that data in a slightly different way. And we decided ultimately that the best way to cover thousands and thousands of integrations while making it possible for every single one of those integrations to be exactly customized the way each user wants it is we needed to build a very powerful abstraction. And that's how we came to decide that workers were probably the best path. The last big thing that changed is we started working on this internally in August is when we first started working on what this might look like. When we saw the coding models come out in December, when we saw Opus 4.6 from Anthropic.
Yeah, that's right. This kind of very specific moment, I think. There.
I think everyone kind of felt this moment where you could ask a coding agent to build something and it would basically just get it right. It wasn't perfect, but that moment convinced us that builders that use Notion will love that type of tool. And because that type of tool can work really well with developer abstractions, there was a really unique opportunity to make Workers the core solution to how we would do all of these integrations. Because the average Notion builder could go find a worker, use a coding agent, and build the exact integration they wanted with any platform into the exact taste and style that they wanted it to be. And that's really the opportunity we see with this approach.
I see. I can fully understand what you said. So personally, my just first question without any any prepared questions. I think some integration with the workers, but I personally use the Notion workers in the CLI environment. And actually, I recognize that Notion Worker is a single tool in the CLI, but not integrated with the Cloud Code or Codex as a plugin. But why did you decide some single CLI tool to make this kind of environment for the developers?
So we decided to go and pursue a CLI at Notion for a couple of reasons. It first gets back to that kind of agent OS question you asked before about our kind of core values about how agents and people need to work together, which is we knew we wanted to build a set of developer tools, but we didn't want to build the developer tools in a way that only a coding agent could work with them. We didn't want to overbind ourselves to any one agent, not only because the agents are evolving very quickly, but we also want to allow any user to use any agent they want. But the second reality there is ultimately a developer should be able to do anything the agent can do. As we've already kind of talked about, that's a core principle of ours, which is if the agent can go and update and change your workspace, but you as a developer don't have the same tools, how are you going to be able to understand what's going on? How are you going to be able to fix it? How will we be able to improve it and make it understandable to us and to other developers? So the CLI, actually a very funny turn of events that we are all back using the terminal and CLIs. But the CLI is a very simple interface for both developers and agents to really work together on these tools. It exposes all of the capabilities to create pages and blocks and databases and now workers to developers. It's very easy, and we can show it when we kind of get into it, but it's also very, very easy for an agent to find those same tools and use those. And so it allows any agent to access Notion, whether it's Claude Code or Codex or Pi or whatever new agents emerge in the next couple of months. But it also makes it very easy for a developer to go in and check that work and see what's happening. And it sets the foundation for us to begin to expose all of these tools to our own agents as well. And we're working on the capabilities so that your personal agents in Notion can build these workers for you and with you. And the CLI creates that kind of common technical interface for everybody to understand what's happening.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Because as a builder, I sometimes change my main operating system in the CLI. I use Codex sometimes, I use Claude Code sometimes. Every single time I change my tools. So your decision is making some great decision, maybe.
Yeah, you should be able to choose whatever tool you want. We don't want to lock you into an agent, but more, I think for us, we want whatever is the best frontier model or open source model to be available to you. So we are seeing some of the new open source models get very, very good, and they're much more affordable. So why would we keep that from you? You know, why not use that? Why not try it?
Yeah.
And I think the other big thing is the only certainty with these models right now is that they will change.
Yeah.
Like next week, you might want to try Codex again, and then the week after, go back to Claude Code, and then the week after that, go back to Pi.
And then today,
it's kind of fun.
Today Gemini introduced the Gemini 3.5. So we have to use that as a builder.
Gemini,
but every time it changes. So Notion's decision is, I think, is best decision for this environment. So I actually watched the GTM's video. At the time, I realized that the Notion Workers is installing in CLI environment in not just the difficult way. So could you show up to Notion Workers for our
absolutely.
subscribers?
Okay, so let me kind of show you how to build a worker. And I thought what would be a really fun worker for Builder Josh is we will build a worker that syncs in all of the statistics about all of your YouTube videos. And it's a pretty fun, simple use case, but it begins to show maybe a fun way to think about workers. So the first step in building a worker is you are going to open up your terminal. And for everybody watching, this is, in my perspective as one of the product leaders on this, the hardest part of the entire product, which is if you've never used your terminal before, it might feel a little different, but what I want to encourage everybody is if you can use Notion, you can use a terminal. You can totally do it.
That's right. You don't have to be afraid to terminal every time.
It doesn't do a lot of things, like it's hard to go back and delete and text edit, but you can work with it from there. So first thing you're going to do, if you haven't already, is you're going to install the Notion CLI. And so you can find that on our website. So if you haven't been to it yet, go to notion.dev. This is our new developer website. You'll get the command to install our CLI right at the top. And if you want to do something really fun, I encourage you to scroll all the way to the bottom, and we built a game. So just a fun.
What was the goal in the game, actually?
The point of building the game is just that it's fun, and we thought developers might think it's cool. This is really our new introduction of our developer platform, and we wanted to give you all a new space for developers to really like find a home and begin to see where we're going to be releasing a lot of new features and powerful tools into Notion. So head over to the website. This is where you can get the command to install the CLI. It's the first step.
Yeah, that's right. But I have a question. Is it good for some Windows environment?
We are working to make the CLI native on Microsoft machines. We should have a release very soon for the CLI to run natively on Microsoft.
Okay, I see.
But right now it's built for Unix-based systems like Apple, Mac OS.
Actually, the most developers in the Korea uses Mac actually, but most builders, especially not just for some really engineering background, they are using the Windows environment. So that's why I'm a kind of instructor for the many huge companies. But every time I see the Windows environment, I face some kind of accident every time. So
it's a different experience, and so we support Unix and Linux today, and then we will, in the next couple of weeks, have a Windows supported CLI for everybody building on Windows.
So don't be afraid. Please
you will be supported.
Yeah.
And once you install the CLI, you'll see a bunch of kind of helpful tools here. What I most recommend is if you want to learn what to do with the CLI, just open up your coding agent and ask what the CLI can do. It will tell you. But if you don't do that, you'll just run ntn-help, and you'll begin to see the full list of tools built into the CLI.
Okay.
So whenever you need help, you'll just run the help command, and you'll be able to see all of the different tools and capabilities we have in the CLI. And this is what we call progressive disclosure of the tools.
That's right.
It's how you as a developer can learn how to use the CLI, and it's also how agents learn what the CLI can do as well.
Yeah, I knew that the progressive disclosure is in the maybe skills.md in every time. So you make some same mutual notion or something like that. Yeah.
And the reason we do that is we want to be as efficient for an agent as possible. So when you do progressive disclosure, the agent can decide how many tokens it's going to burn to keep learning how to use the tool. The inverse is if we were to just show you all the tools all at once, we would consume so much of the token context window for any one of the agents that it would be very unnecessarily expensive and unnecessarily slow. And a major focus for us is to make Notion very efficient and affordable. And so that's why we're doing these very progressive disclosures of the tools. So once you have the CLI installed, the first command you're going to run, I'm just going to clear my terminal and run ntn workers new. So this is just saying, Notion, I need a new worker. And what it is going to do is it's going to bring up an interactive set of prompts to get you going. So I'm going to call this builder Josh YT for YouTube.
Okay.
And it's going to install the template of the worker, and then it's going to ask me two helpful things. Do I want to initialize Git?
Git,
So Git is a classic developer tool for versioning.
Essential,
and essential. I completely agree. And then you're going to install the dependencies as well. And then we are going to stand up or scaffold the worker for you. So you now have on your computer all the code that can run a worker, and it's just running locally on the machine. So it's going to give you a little set of next steps. First, CD, which means change directory.
Move to that directory.
Exactly. So CD builder Josh YT. So now we are in the worker. We are in the folder that contains all the information for the worker. And at this point in time, I could show you how to look at the files. I could explain what's in those files. But for you, you really shouldn't you don't need to do it. Let your coding agent do this for you. So I'm just going to turn on my coding agent. In this case, it's going to be Claude Code. And I'm going to run it in a skip permissions mode. If you're comfortable with it, try it. It makes it much more efficient, and you're running your coding agent in a contained area that we've already kind of set up where you should be very comfortable letting this coding agent really work and do its job. We've done a lot of hard work to ensure that these coding agents can be successful and safe and secure.
But
So
for the
it's
beginner,
okay.
I don't recommend the dangerous script permission.
You may want to,
because
you may want to
it
answer every
security
question.
problem. So, but this is the best decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to then go and start a sync skill. So you'll see that your Notion worker comes with a bunch of skills built in.
I see. Did you make the command line or some custom command? Or
No, so we built a custom skill. It comes natively with your worker. So when you ran the NTN workers new, we installed a bunch of skills.
Okay.
And these skills teach Claude Code how syncs work. And in these skills, we've imparted all sorts of knowledge about how our SDK is shaped, how to build a sync, how to test it, how to structure it. And actually what it does, you'll see what it did just there, is it parsed the name of our file, and it immediately realized, oh, you might want to do a YouTube video sync. And that's exactly what I want to do.
I see.
So I'm basically just going to say, yes, I do want to do a YouTube video sync, and it's going to begin to come up with a plan for how to do this sync. And so we are going to go through and give it a bit more information. So it's asking what channel ID you want. I'm going to provide the handle. And it's asking if I have a YouTube API key, which I do have, and I'll provide that. It wants to know how frequently I want to sync videos from your YouTube channel. I'll say every hour, maybe once a day. We'll do once a day.
Yeah.
And it now has all the context it needs. And I think what is really helpful there is our sync skill understood that these were the additional pieces of information to provide. I have yet to even write a prompt, right? I just ran the sync skill and pointed it at this directory.
It clarifying everything, right? So
yep. Yeah. So now we are just going to let this coding agent begin to work. So it is asking me what information, it's asking me now what the channel handle is and what the YouTube API is. So I'm going to grab those things right now. So first, I'm going to go back to my browser, go back to your YouTube channel, and I'm going to grab the link to your YouTube channel, throw it in here. And then I also created a API token just for this demo. And I'm going to go grab that from my 1Password. So let me see, YouTube API key. So I provided the Builder Josh YouTube channel, and I provided an API token that can access the YouTube API. And then we're going to let it go. Now, something I do want to share is our sync skill will almost always give you the instructions for how to get the API token or how to set up the authentication.
Yeah.
If we could automatically do that for you every time, we would. But most of the time, you need to go and find that API token. It's kind of the hardest part right now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So it's gone through and it's proposing what the database might look like. I think that looks pretty good. What I do think would be fun is, let's see, we got the title, video ID. I think that actually looks like a great set of tools. So let's go ahead and let it begin to build the sync.
Okay.
So the agent will now begin to process our SDK. It'll begin to use all of the information we provided to it to begin to build and test the sync. And what's really unique about our approach here is for a coding agent to be successful, it needs to be able to verify and test the work it's done. And we've created all the tools in the SDK and in the workers so that this agent can actually go and test its own work. It can validate that it wrote the right code, that it has the right types. There's a lot of little details in here that make this really possible. So let's let it think. It'll just take a moment here.
Yeah.
So we have the worker, it's done its work, it's tested. And if we were to scroll back in here, you'll see like it made mistakes.
Yeah.
It wasn't perfect, but we gave it the tools to find out how to fix the mistakes it made and get to a good outcome. And so now it's asking if we want to deploy. I could totally let this agent deploy,
okay.
and we could let it do that. I think for the purposes of the demo, I just want to show you what you do. And this is why we build tools that both the agent can use and you can use, so you can work with it. So I'm going to go and just open a new tab really quick. And you'll see I'm still in the same directory where we started, the Builder Josh. And now I'm going to do the deploy. So first, I just want to make sure that I'm logged into the right instance. So I'm just going to run a quick log out, and I'm going to log back in to make sure that I deploy this to the workspace that we want to. So I'm going to run NTN login, And what it's going to do is we are now going to connect my local computer where I've built and started writing this code. And for everyone watching, the code, everything we just did is only running on my machine. It's only on my computer. And that's why it should be a very comfortable space for you to play around, try something. You can't break Notion. We've created all the, like you're not going to break your workspace. All of this is sandboxed and controlled. So now I'm going to select where I want to sync it. I'll put it right into the same space that we built for our keynote demo, actually. So it's authorized and connected to the Notion environment. And now I can go back to my terminal and we're logged in. And now the last step is I'm going to run ntn workers deploy. It's going to ask again for the name. So builder Josh YouTube sync. It's a little bit of an easier to use name. And at this point, Notion is going to check the code you wrote, verify that it's safe and secure to deploy, bundle it, so actually turn it into a buildable and executable file, and then upload it into our infrastructure, which is the Workers infrastructure.
So engineers don't need any kind of some real server to deploy.
Correct.
For deploying, yeah.
Yep, you don't need to create a server, you don't need to manage a server, you don't need to check on it. We take care of all of that. And if I could show you all of the systems internally we have that make sure that the system runs all the time and is reliable, I would, but its internal dashboards and it'd be very boring.
Okay.
So it's now deployed. The last thing we need to do is we have that YouTube secret, the API token, that actually is how we connect. And that is only existing right now on my computer. Now I need to push that security token up into Notion so that Notion can establish a connection too.
Is it secure? Really?
It's completely secure. So when I run this command, which is ntn workers env or environment push, it's going to take that secure token, encrypt it, send it up to Notion, and then we will only decrypt it on the sandbox when this worker makes a network call to make the retrievals. So we'll run this command to push it, and now you'll see that it's asking me that we're going to create 2 new environment variables that'll be stored on the worker. And so for anyone watching that's like never used environment variables, is fairly new to coding, just think about these as passwords. If you're using any other password manager, we're securing these credentials as passwords and storing them on the environment of the machine so that you can actually connect to systems you use. So I'll press Y, and now that's all been deployed. And so at this point, we've built the worker, we've programmed the sync, we've deployed it, and we've pushed the password. And so now we just need to see if the sync is working.
Okay. So I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah. So after deploying API key, so how can I handle this kind of the API keys in the Notion Workers environment?
Yeah, so great question. So I'll show you exactly how I'm going to go about it. I would go and just run ntn workers env -- help. So this takes us back to that help command. If you ever have a question like that, just go straight to what you just did and run the help command, and you'll begin to see all the tools you or your agent has to see these passwords. So here I can run, you can see that there's a list command here. So I can run ntn workers and list, and there I can see that we created those tokens. But we will never reveal those tokens. We don't even, they're completely encrypted to us, so we don't even know what they are. All we know is we created them and they're stored under these variable names. Now I could delete them. I can also pull them back down to my machine if I need to. So there's a lot of tools in here for us to manage these secure tokens end to end, and for you to do that or your coding agent to help you.
So don't you have any user interface in the terminal environment? So maybe I recognize that there's the TUI.
That's right, TUI, Terminal User Interface. So you can run ntn workers TUI, and you'll see kind of our user interface for kind of seeing how workers are going. And so here we have a couple different ones built. If I go to the builder Josh worker, I can see we've built the builder sync, and I can select it. There's the database where it's syncing to. It's running. It's upserted 83 videos so far. It's taking it 4.6 seconds to run every cycle.
It is working healthy.
It's healthy. I can go in deeper as well. And a couple things I just want to show you here, just so you kind of understand. You can see that for the first, right after we deployed, it was actually hitting an error. And the reason it was hitting that error is I can go into any one of these runs and I can see it's hitting an error because it doesn't have a YouTube API key because we hadn't pushed up the environment variable yet. If I go into any one of the successful syncs, we can begin to see the full logging.
Yeah, it's full Korean. But
Yeah, I have no idea what this says. But I am seeing, emojis in there. I'm presuming this is, some successful YouTube logs. And so that's all running there. And you'll also be able to see where you were asking before. This is another place where you can see those environment variables are set. So it looks like it's all healthy and running. So I think what we should really do is let's actually see how it looks in Notion. So I'm gonna go ahead and open the database link here.
Wow.
And I believe these are all your videos. So here they are. I can see the descriptions are being pulled in.
Wow.
I can see how long it is in seconds, the engagement. We load the thumbnail on there.
Awesome. Oh,
so this is all your YouTube stats syncing right in. And every time you create a new video, we'll catch and upload that here as well.
It automatically syncs every single videos after I uploaded the video.
Yep.
Right? Oh my gosh.
And what's cool about that, a couple new things, right? You'll be able to see that it's a sync and the health of the status. Like we're beginning to bring some nice tools into it. But it's also a full power Notion database. So you can add your own properties here, right? You can add statuses, you can add AI autofill properties. So you can begin to extend and make this set of data about your YouTube content exactly yours. It works with all the views you want, right? I can work with it in my custom agent and my personal agent. So you really have all the tools to begin to work with this data. And we never looked like, we were here though, we never looked at the code. I have yet to read the code. We let the coding agent really build and deploy all of it.
Yeah, it helps. Okay, especially marketing team when they control some kind of the statistics or competitive analytics, right? Yeah. So I actually use this kind of feature in by the NAN actually, but now I can fully use this kind of feature in the Notion Workers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Something we actually do with a lot of our customers. Before we had Workers, the best way to do this was absolutely N8N. You could use Zapier. There's a bunch of them. There's a lot of different tools to it. If you want to move those into Workers, a really fun way to do it is, for example, you can take a screenshot of your N8N workflows. And when you're in Claude Code, you can literally just paste in the image of your N8N flow or your Zap. It'll parse that image and help you turn that into a worker for you. And then it'll be maintainable and editable through code.
That's right. So I can finally use my natural language by not using NAN workflow because sometimes I really memorize every single some notes by the notes, right? So, but from now on, I can use my natural language. Yeah, right.
And the way that goes is, what's really nice about N8N and Zapier is you can see the flows and it's laid out to you in a nice visual way. And the transition you'll make if you want to move them into Notion, because they're really powerful tools. It's really nice to be able to lay it out that way.
Yeah, totally right.
Is once you move it into Notion, you'll now manage that through your coding agent. So any change you'd otherwise make by going into Zapier and changing the workflow, you'll now make that change by just asking your coding agent to improve it. So now we can build all sorts of stuff on top of the sync you have. We could build some tools that edit or change descriptions of your videos. We can do all sorts of powerful capabilities from here because we've now begun to create this coding environment that's fully customizable. There's no limit to what you can build once you have it set up as a worker.
Yes, it's really powerful. So I'm going to move to the next questions. In Korea, the phrase vibe coding has caught on a lot. And it's a style where instead of writing precise specs, but you give a cutting edge intent and context and build alongside it. And what value do you think Workers offers, especially to the vibe coders?
So vibe coding, some people love the phrase. I think some developers have turned to not love it. What I think is really important about Workers is I think Workers are a very good set of work that is very vibe codable. So what do I mean by that? Sometimes you're building a system or building a set of tools as a developer that is very complex, has a lot of logic, and is brand new. So it's very hard to just go into a coding agent and ask it to build a very complex system all on its own. But with Workers, I think Workers are very vibe codable because our engineering team has put a ton of time building really helpful abstractions so that a coding agent can really just learn how to use the tool on its own. From your perspective, you're just vibing, you're just giving it, you know, a sense of direction of where to go. But really under the hood, we've set up the SDK, the skills, the entire development and workflow pipeline, that the code that's actually being written, actually deployed is not vibed at all. It's very rigorously tested. It's very secure. It has all the governance features. So for you as a builder, go in and just describe what you want. We've done all the hard engineering so it can feel like vibing to you. But for the code that's actually deployed and running in Notion, it's very high grade, end-to-end tested code that'll work.
I totally agree with you. So on the flip side, is evolving vibe coding environment is kind of making some security problems, right? Yeah. So how is Workers putting guardrails around that? So maybe, something like that.
So when you're writing code that, from our perspective, any piece of code that you deploy, we have no idea what it does. And our position is that we don't trust it, believe it could be malicious, and are putting it in a sandbox environment so that it cannot do any harm. So our position there is you should be using coding agents. They're very powerful. They can write really complete applications. And then we've done a lot of hard work around governance, security, and deployment to ensure that that code is secure and safe and can't do harm to Notion, to your workspace, or to others. So that's what the Worker environment really does. It is a sandboxed environment. And what sandboxing means, it's completely contained in a way that it can be immediately turned off by us. It can't access and connect to other systems that we can't govern and verify. And it allows us to create a security environment around it so that we can ensure that your passwords and other secure information in Notion can never be accessed in an unauthorized way. So those are all these big steps we've made so that you can write code that you've never even completely read or bug checked, but that you can still deploy and run in a Notion server. And we've partnered with some exceptional companies like Workers의 and AWS to ensure that those runtimes are very secure and can be governed by us.
Great. So in Korea, the enormous range of teams use Notion as a kind of second brain for the team. So it is working as a collaboration tools for every single startup or some huge companies as well. But when those teams adopt the developer platform, how do you expect their collaboration patterns to shift? I was wondering that why developer platform needs to the team, even if they are using Notion as a collaboration tools, not only just developer, but also builders.
So for teams and builders, what we observed, like, why do people want to put all this data in Notion anyway? So it is a really powerful second brain. But as we were talking about right in the beginning, not all your information is in Notion. We don't expect that to be the case, especially for teams of people. You might be taking your notes and you might be taking your, using our meeting notes features and building really nice databases. But maybe all your customers live in your CRM, right? Or your YouTube videos live in YouTube. Like, that's just where we're not a video hosting platform. Like, you got to put it on YouTube. So once that begins to happen and you're just in the nature of building, you start creating work that lives in a CRM or on a social media platform, you now have information that's just not in your brain. So we really would love you to use Workers to just connect that data back to your brain. And what we're seeing, I think, like a very common use case where we're seeing this succeed is with CRM syncs. So Salesforce, HubSpot, you might be using Shopify. There's so many other tools where you're keeping track of customers and shipments. But when you bring it into Notion, what begins to happen is people that aren't even on sales can begin to see, oh, these are my customers. Your marketing team can match, campaigns and efforts to the data that lives in your CRM and used to only be available to your sales team. You can begin to share and reference your prior videos in notes and documents you maybe share with other collaborators or other partners that you want to kind of collab with. And it really just begins to allow you to really kind of have a complete second brain of all the information you otherwise might not have.
Yeah. That's a very clever decision because as a builder, I use Notion for my team, not only just in making some memos or some pages or some kind of little database, but I really wanted to use the collaboration canvas for the Notion.
And I think the other big point there is, because we also want you to use agents, agents are particularly hamstrung if they don't have access to it. So if you wanted to go in today without the YouTube sync and start asking your agent about how your YouTube videos are doing, what would be a good idea of what to do next, think about what it has to do to answer that question. It would have to go out to the internet, try to find all your YouTube videos. It would need to be, parsing all this information. It may or may not succeed.
That's right. That's a great point. So I actually recognize that the Notion agent controls not only just the data. Maybe I can make a dashboard for the team to, control or some show up to the data or every single analytics, right?
Yeah.
So that's why it is clever decision, maybe. So I really realized that. So
exactly.
Yeah.
What we begin to see with teams and companies is context is a critical part of the next era of agents. And that context can be retrieved, but if the agent misses just one piece of information that is critical, it will make the wrong decision, it will do the wrong work, it won't be successful. And giving it the space to be very successful is incredibly important to Notion. We really want you to operate your agents wherever they may be from Notion, and then see those agents actually do work that's really meaningful to you and valuable. And for both of those things to be true, the agent also needs to be very efficient. It needs to be able to do that work in a cost-effective way. And for that to happen, it cannot be spending, millions of tokens every run just going to try and find the information it needs. And if it does spend that much time finding that information, it needs to accurately get every piece of context so that it can do the right work. And syncing and the worker tool calls we've rolled out are our answers to those problems. The worker sync allows all that context to live in Notion so that we can index and vectorize it and make it accessible to your agents. We can be confident that the agent is getting all the information it needs. And as a result, it can also be way more efficient. We're in a very unique position at Notion in that we're not a frontier lab company yet. We're very motivated to make our agents really economical, and we see Workers as a really powerful way to make those agents very, very efficient. So that's kind of why we're really doubling down on the developer platform.
I see. So Korean companies often adopt new tools bottom up. But an individual practitioner tries something that is breadth. What would you recommend as the most effective first use case for a single builder trying to introduce workers to the team?
So two answers here. First, we love that the Notion loves the individual finds Notion, begins to love it, use it, brings it to their team. And so if you're an individual building on Notion, my number one recommendation with Workers is just start by building a sync that is valuable to you personally, that is doing something that saves you, having to click and log into another system. So if you'd love to be in Notion, but you always find yourself going into GitHub, build a GitHub sync. If you really enjoy Notion, but you're constantly going out into Shopify, build a Shopify sync. If none of that is true, but you love Notion and you love music and you use Spotify, build a Spotify sync. Any one of those examples will teach you so much about Notion and how to be more productive on it. And then once you build something like a Notion worker, I actually think the number one thing I'd recommend you to build for your team is an agent that helps route information across your team. So if you're using Slack, build an agent that helps take feedback from your customers and send it to the right person. And the reason I love that use case is it not only will save you time, it's really helpful to your team for them to see an agent actually take care of some painful kind of busy work that your team would otherwise have to do. And so those types of little agents will make you a little hero in your team if you can save your team time that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think for companies that want to become more AI native and bring agentic processes into their company, the way to use Notion workers and our agents together is I'd first start by making sure that Notion is becoming a place that is accurate and has the context it needs. And so we provide your teams with meeting notes and databases so your team can really begin to collaborate and build kind of a center of knowledge. And then you can use those workers to extend it just the way we showed. So you can sync a lot of data into Notion. So you have your CRM data, all the critical information that your company relies on every day. Getting that into one place is the first step. It's super valuable for your team, but then it sets the foundation for you to actually start building agents that you'll find helpful. Those agents will be able to find the answers in your documents. They'll be able to find the solutions in your CRMs, and you can begin to build an agent that appears across your company and is really helpful. Something that I am still really surprised about is right now inside of Notion, we're about 1,000 people. I think we have over 3,000 agents. And so all throughout my day, I'm engaging with agents. I am engaging with an agent probably every 15 minutes to every 30 minutes. When I talk to a lot of teams still, a lot of team members may have never worked with an agent ever. They've worked with a chat box, they've tried ChatGPT, but they've never ever seen an agent actually help them. And so my experience at work is becoming so different than a lot of other team members because I'm getting very familiar with agents and how they save me time. And so to bring that same type of thing to your company, to find a set of agents that your team might engage with once a day, every hour that they actually find helpful.
Yeah, that's right.
That starting point's just in your workspace and beginning from there. So that's kind of where I'd begin.
I totally agree with your points. Yeah. First of all, we need to wrap all the kind of data into something valuable software. Maybe it's going to be maybe Notion, but that's the maybe first step to go to AI native company. I think that. So,
and I think we would say the reason I'm really finding, obviously I work at Notion, but something I think is really valuable about starting with Notion is your company could begin by putting all this data into a warehouse, Snowflake, Databricks, or you could put it into a database. But those are highly, highly technical systems that very few people at your company can access and work with safely. It's very, very hard to make your Snowflake data warehouse accessible to your company in a place where they can work with it, improve it, edit it, keep it up to date. What's really striking me about Notion is it's a place, it looks like a doc. It looks like a page. It looks like an Excel spreadsheet. And underneath it, though, are all these tools that make it secure, permissioned. So as soon as you begin to put the data in a place like that, it's actually accessible to everybody. And it's accessible to your agents in a way that you can understand, kind of as we talked about. So that's really our approach.
Not only engineers, but also every single workers in the
as long as they can open up a page and start typing, they can add to your agentic workflow.
That's right.
And that's accessible to everybody at your company.
All right. We're going to go to the closing. For Korean builders who finishes watching this and think, I should try this, what's the very first resource or documentation you'd point them to?
So if you want to try out anything we just talked about, go to notion.dev. That's notion.dev. And you'll go to our brand new developer landing page. You'll see all the commands we just talked about how to install the CLI. You'll see how we build syncs, but you'll also learn about a bunch of features Josh and I didn't have time to talk about today. and you'll see all of our help documentation. And you'll also find out a way to get in touch directly with me. You can join our developer Slack channel. And I and our entire engineering team is available to answer your questions from there.
Okay. Yeah, as a builder in the AI native era, so what milestone do you think matters most? I'd like to hear your personal opinion.
Yeah, we talk a lot about, at Notion, we talk a lot about agency. You're hearing a lot of this conversation about it. It's really important to have taste or all of these types of things. What I would most encourage is whatever question, when you start working with these AI tools, especially when you start working with something like building a worker, whatever question you have, you're gonna hit all sorts of questions. You might have never used these tools before. The beauty of these tools is just take that curiosity and just immediately ask an agent to try.
That's right.
In your coding agent, if you hit an error, just be like, what does this error mean? If you are building a new worker and it doesn't make sense, ask it what it did. It'll tell you and it can teach you something new. If you're hitting a question in Notion, just try asking the agent. And when you go from thinking about these things as just a thing that builds and does work for you to also something that helps you learn, I think that's a big breakthrough in building the confidence to realize you've always had this in you to build these types of things. And if you're building in Notion, you're already that kind of person. You're already somebody that wants to build tools that solve your problems. You already want to make things look nice and clean. And these agents are just here to help you do that better and faster. That's really our take on it.
That's great answer, because every time I use the Cloud Code, but before using Cloud Code or something, this kind of AI native tool, I didn't realize that what's possible, what I can do. But after using it, I really feel really free every time. Wow, I can use everything. I can make everything like that. So please try Notion Workers, because if you use this kind of tool, you can expand your world from today. So
love it.
Yeah, love it. So this is final question. Please introduce your vision in the Notion for our audience. Your personal vision.
Oh, my personal vision for Notion. Yeah, I think what I really love about Notion is where today it started as like a place where you can keep taking docs and you can build databases, and now we're beginning to put agents in there that kind of help you begin to do your work. I think our ultimate vision for something like Notion is that it evolves from just being a place where you have agents and you have docs and it kind of looks like software you've always used into something that you might begin to realize looks a lot more like an operating system for you and your team. It has all the context you need. It has all of these really powerful agents in there. And now with our developer platform, it can be tailored to your exact needs. It can look exactly like you want. It's completely malleable and customizable for you. And it becomes something that just can run your life. It can run your team, and it can run all the software you need to do that really efficiently. So our vision a little bit, at least what I'm really excited about at Notion, is that we have all these building blocks that can now come together to build like a very complete operating system for you. And that's where I'd love to see this product go in the next couple months and years. We're going really fast, so I hope we can do it.
네, 여러분 오늘 잘 보셨죠? 오늘 빌더 주시 채널에 이제 에릭 골드먼님 이제 나오셔서 정말 많은 내용, 그 좋은 그 인사이트 나눠주셨는데, 이제 노션 워커스가 이렇게 디벨로퍼 플랫폼에 새로 출시됐으니까 여러분도 한번 꼭 써보셨으면 하는 바람이고요. 일단 저 개인적으로는 굉장히 많은 시야가 확장될 수 있었던 그런 시간이었습니다. 그래서 기회가 된다면 또 다음에도 이런 또 자리를 마련해 볼 수 있도록 하겠습니다. 오늘 출연해주신 에릭님 정말 감사드리고요. 여기서 인터뷰를 마무리하도록 하겠습니다. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, thank you. 감사합니다. 다음에 뵙겠습니다.